Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you all for tuning in to, I'll say, Real Talk with Karen Weaver. I'm Karen Weaver, and I am here with Commissioner Charles Winfery. And thank you for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you for having me.
I've been waiting to talk with you.
Yeah.
But before we even jump into what we want to talk about, first, I want to say congratulations. Because you were awarded Sunday.
Yeah, I was.
And it was very nice for the work and the service that you've done in this community, especially with McCree Theater.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and it's no surprise either, though. It really isn't, because you put a lot into McCree Theater. And so while I want to talk to you about being county commissioner and what that entails, we'll start there. Let's start there, because you know what I've noticed, Charles, Commissioner Winfery, is a lot of people don't know and understand the role of county government and what county commissioners do.
Yeah.
So why don't let's start there.
Yeah, and I always preface my remarks when I'm visiting churches or other events. County government, in terms of our community, has been under the radar for so long that nobody really knows what county government does. And, quite frankly, county government does a lot. I mean, we manage a budget of about $125 million. We have 16 departments, not counting the co-electeds, like the sheriff and prosecutor and county treasurer and clerk. If we added those, we'd have about 20 departments. And no one seems to pay attention to county government. That's why back in, I think it was, a few months ago, we hosted a county government forum at the Creek Theater, just so that we could inform our community about the services and programs that the county has to offer.
And I'm glad you did. I wanted to attend that evening, but I wasn't able to. But why do you think that is, that we are so, I don't know, ignorant to what county government does, and why? And then tell us why it's so important that we be involved.
Well, I think most of the citizens of Flint are really focused on Flint, and you being the former mayor of Flint, Flint has a lot to deal with. Flint has more interaction with the residents of the city proper. So in terms of our community, and I'm speaking of the African American community, we're more focused on city government.
But don't we we give tax dollars?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And that's why people, if you want to follow your money and pay attention to where your money goes, some of that goes to the county.
And the county touches every resident of Flint, just like city government touches every resident of Flint. I mean, you have to pay your taxes. If you're delinquent, you have to go through the county. G-Card is there to assist those that need assistance. One of the things that was really telling was that G-Card and the county treasurer has a program to people who are behind on their property taxes.
Okay.
And when you look at all of those properties that were confiscated or sold to this one company, I think it was 235 properties, most of them in the city of Flint, a lot of those could have been prevented if they had known about some of the services that county government offers. They have tax abatement programs, they have tax deferment programs. I mean, you can set up payment arrangements, and then they have a program that actually assists people, with paying some of their back taxes. So it's really vitally important that people begin to pay more attention.
Right, because it's gone under the radar, but we should be involved because it impacts us directly, because we're part of the county. That's one of the things we have to remind people. Flint is the largest city in Genesee County, and so we need to pay attention to what is going on and how we're represented there, how our tax dollars are used there, and we just have not been engaged
Yeah.
in county government the way we probably should be.
Right, and really, I mean, you got the prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
who deals with a lot of the problems that our families encounter, with our people who are uh, sometimes victims of the criminal justice system. You have the county jail that's part of the county, uh, and county clerk. You can't get married,
Right.
without going through the county clerk. Uh, so I mean, we just have to pay more attention. I know that other communities, particularly during the COVID uh, pandemic, uh, they used to, they used to flood county government chambers,
Mm-hmm.
protesting against the mask mandate and all of
I
those
do
other
remember.
things.
Yeah, I do
Right,
kind of remember that
right.
going on.
And we have to do the same thing. I know that we had an opportunity to deal with some issues at the county road commission, right?
Yes.
And that was the only time I've seen us
So many.
pack
Right.
the
I
county
did come to a
chambers.
few of those.
Right.
I did come to a few of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
And that's an ongoing problem too
Mhm.
with the road commission. And we really need the support of our community. When when we suffer injustices.
Right. Right. And so, let me see. I had some things, but I wanted to make sure you told us why we should be engaged in county and the major roles that we don't even know about. We
Right.
talked about these programs that are there to help us.
Mhm.
And so people need to know about those. They need to know about those. Something else that's interesting about county government versus city government is county government is partisan,
Mhm.
and whereas city is nonpartisan. It doesn't, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you are, it doesn't
Right.
matter. But I know county government is partisan.
Right.
So how does that go? So with an election coming up, it's people on the Democratic ticket and on the Republican ticket.
Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think I might be the only commissioner um, that only has a primary race,
Okay.
um, Democrat against Democrat.
Okay.
I think the others have um, mostly. I think most of them just have November Democrat against Republican.
Republican. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed that is different
Mhm.
about county government and city government.
But of course, Genesee County is predominantly a Democratic county.
Right.
And the current makeup of the board is 8 Democrats and
Oh,
1
wow.
Republican.
Okay.
And that Republican basically comes from the Flint area.
So what area do you represent?
I represent the 2nd district, which is actually the west side of the city of Flint, from Pasadena Avenue to Hemp Hill Road,
Okay.
and west to Elms Road, um, part of Flint Township.
Oh, okay.
So primarily the western half
Okay.
of Flint.
Okay. And Flint has how many representatives on the, or how many commissioners, I should say? How many do we have for Flint?
I believe
Or that
there
Flint is
are,
included in?
right now, I think there are only 2. And that's the 1st district and the 2nd district.
Okay.
Now the 3rd district used to have a portion. I'm sorry, the 4th district has a portion of that.
Mm-hmm.
The 3rd district used to have a portion of Flint, Evergreen Valley, and
Okay.
Evergreen Estates, but that changed during the new census count.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was wondering, because it gets kind of confusing about the areas
Mm-hmm.
that you
It
represent.
was so similar to what they did with the ward boundaries
Mm-hmm.
in the city.
And got everybody all confused.
Right.
Got everybody all
Yeah,
confused.
yeah.
even some of those that are elected were
Right.
confused.
And
with
then
the
I think they
wards.
shrunk the number of precincts to 29.
Yes.
I mean
That's now that was,
that makes campaigning kind of difficult. In
it
the
sure
city,
does.
You know.
It sure does. I mean, those numbers drastically dropped.
Yeah,
Because I used to be number, I don't know if my precinct was 45, 46,
right.
and now it's 20 or,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Mhm.
like, now how does that happen? Almost cut in half.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, population
I guess it,
loss, but still, that when it comes to campaigning, there's a lot of ground to cover.
it's a lot of ground to
Yeah.
cover. And you're campaigning, you're running, you're a candidate right
Yes.
now
Yes.
for county commissioner.
Yes.
So what is it that you like about it? Why are you running again?
Just being in a position to use it as a platform to do what I do and to help people, to serve people, uh, to make sure that we're at the table with a lot of these boards and commissions that affect our lives, um, to make sure that we're getting our just dues from county government in terms of resources, um, making sure that we're included in the employment and procurement processes.
Okay.
All of those things.
And we need a voice there at the table
Yes.
to see that those kinds of things are happening.
Yeah. Uh, and again, we've been under the radar so long, and we need advocates for our community. More than anything else, we have to advocate, and we have to, stay on course and don't backtrack.
We sure do need some advocates. We need people speaking up about Flint and what's going on and making sure that Flint gets our fair share.
Right.
Have somebody that's there watching out for us and looking out for us and speaking up for us.
Mhm.
And we've been negligent in that area. Not you, but the people. Because we just have not taken that interest and been actively engaged. But sometimes I do hear people say they don't feel like they belong there. Have you heard that?
Yeah, yeah, but you know, I think, in my opinion, you have to value yourself
Right.
More than anything else. And if you value yourself,
You belong.
you belong.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. I remember, what it made me think about was the first time when it wasn't my first stage of the city, it might have been maybe the third one. And I said, we're going to have it at the Capitol. And
Right.
people were a little bit nervous about that because some people felt like we're not welcome there. And I said, oh, yes, we are.
Yeah.
And if we act like we're not, then we're not. I said, but that's for everybody.
Right. And and it's the same argument a lot of folks use for not voting and really not, just observing from the sidelines. I mean, a classic example is what's happening at my college
Yeah,
as we speak.
as we speak.
I mean, where you have a majority that's really seems like they want to ruin everything that Dr. Beverly and those who preceded her established. And we went to sleep when it came to the Mott College Board of Trustee elections. Matter of fact, we got a seat that's open now, and we have until I think the 26th of July for those who want to run for those offices to put in their petitions. So far, I think we only have one candidate.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's 19?
No, he's 21.
21. Okay.
21. Yeah. Percy.
Yeah.
Percy Whitmore.
Okay.
Uh,
Now we've either got to get behind him or got to find someone.
yeah, we've got to get some people on that board, and we have not done that. We haven't done that.
And that 5 majority has just selected someone that has no experience in higher education to lead the college.
And that's what happens, though, because we are asleep. There are certain meetings we don't even pay attention to. We don't go to. That's one of them. Sometimes it's the county commissioners meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, people used to really go to the Board of Education meetings, and it kind of fell off, and then they started going again. But I mean, these are the things that really impact our day-to-day life.
Right, and right now we got to be more vigilant than ever because, I mean, there's an attack on everything that we value. Our history, Uh, I mean, everything that cuts to our core of being is under attack, and will become even more severe if we don't wake up and smell the coffee before the
Mm-hmm.
November election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't want people to just wait for a November election. You know, so many times you'll hear people say, I'm voting the general,"
Mhm.
but it's like your candidate may not make it to the general if you don't vote in the
Right.
primary.
That's right.
And a lot of times we don't see dollars put into elections until after you get through the
Mhm.
primary. So sometimes it seems like the party isn't valuing the primary or putting enough into the primary, so we have those candidates when we get to the general.
Right.
So that's one of the things I've noticed. And
Yeah.
you've been involved in politics a long time. People know you. They know you were involved. You and Woodrow Stanley, former Mayor Stanley. I mean, so you've been around for a long time. You've seen it. You've experienced it, and so that's why it's really good to have a Charles Winfery sitting there, because this isn't a new game for you.
Right. Right. And I cherished every minute of it. I
Hmm.
mean, um, and that's what we have. We have to elect good people if we want good government.
Okay,
You know?
now you know what? I'm gonna tell you where I'd like to be a fly on the wall. At your house sometimes
Oh,
when your daughter comes over, because it's we were talking about this. I said a father daughter kind of thing. I mean,
right.
two
Right.
elected elected officials in
Yeah.
the family. So
Yeah.
your county government, she's uh,
Yeah. Yeah. She's city
she's with
council.
city council. I
Right.
bet you all have some interesting conversations.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And,
But you always laugh because you get home
yeah.
before
And,
her meetings.
right. And she's her
Sorry, Councilwoman Winfrey
yeah,
Carter.
yeah, and she's her mother's daughter,
Uh-huh.
so sometimes she has that stubbornness.
But she's got to be strong to be there,
Right.
and
Right.
she's been able to watch you and be in that arena for such a long time.
Yeah.
Growing up, because you were in that arena while she was growing up, and so she had and it's funny that you never know how your kids are watching and what we pick up from our parents, and then all of a sudden they're grown and you're like, you're doing what?
Mhm.
And it's like, I was watching, I was paying attention, and I don't
Yeah.
it just
Yeah, I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
I'm extremely proud of her.
hmm hmm yeah, and she's one of those voices we need right there on city council, speaking up and fighting for us, and making sure that Flint residents get everything Flint residents should get.
Yeah, I'm glad we lit the spark in her, to
Hmm.
get involved politically. Uh, Prior to, I think, running for office, she was sort of like an observer.
Hmm.
Uh, not really engaged uh, in the politics, but I'm glad to see that she's came out and she's a strong person on the council.
And I think people in the Fifth Ward are glad that she's there as well. That she's glad as well. So I want to switch a little bit, because remember I was going to ask you something. I want to talk about McCree, because I mean you do a lot of different things. You have really been engaged in the community for years, and you've been over McCree Theater. But what got you interested in theater, performing arts, Charles?
Well, it's funny, Karen. I was in law school. My baby daughter that's when she got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to come back to Flint and just basically looking for a job. And again, Woodrow Stanley happened to be at McCree Theater, and he was my best friend, and he was acting. So of course, when your best friend is involved in something,
He was acting.
yeah,
See, I didn't know
he was an
that.
actor.
See,
Yeah, and some other of my friends were involved. So there's an opening for a job at the theater, and I applied for it, and was lucky enough to get it, and haven't looked back since. There's a thing about theater that once you become involved, you want to stay involved.
Mhm.
I mean, you just become addicted to theater.
and I think we should spend a moment talking about the importance, because sometimes people don't recognize the importance of performing arts,
Yeah.
and the importance of it to a community, the importance of it, I mean, to academics,
Mhm.
and when you're involved in these kinds of things,
Yeah.
academic performance is better. I mean, just everything that it
Yeah, I mean,
does.
even with self-discovery.
I was gonna say we can talk about it in a therapeutic
Yeah,
sense too.
right,
So
right,
I mean,
yeah.
it
You
but
being a
right.
psychologist,
Hmm.
so yeah, even with the self-discovery aspects of it, and some of the life skills that you
That's
just
right.
automatically receive, like self-discipline.
Hmm.
You have to engage in teamwork in
That's right.
theater, and learning lines build your self-confidence,
Hmm.
and just the whole thing builds your self-esteem. Once you get up on stage before an audience, you get that feeling that I'm somebody.
Hmm.
You know, uh, so I mean, it's just a lot of benefits of in terms of human development that
Right.
comes with being a part
Right.
of the age.
And I think that's why it's so good that McCree is here. I mean, because you think about it, we grew up when I was in school. I mean, a lot of those things were part of it. It was just part of the
Yeah,
curriculum.
right.
Art, whether it was painting, drawing, drama, music. The performing arts were part of the curriculum. People kind of didn't recognize the value. Thought, well, we can do away with that. And when that happened, you saw kids' behavior get worse.
Yeah, you played the instrument, didn't you?
I did. I played at school. I played the violin.
Okay.
But my mother was a piano teacher,
All right.
so we all had to learn how to play the piano. Me, my brother, and my sister.
Right.
Yes.
And then you play another string,
The harp.
the harp.
Yes.
Right.
But I couldn't. They didn't have that at orchestra, so I had to do that. I did that privately.
Yeah.
Yeah, music was just very important,
Right.
and I know if I'm stressed, I want to turn some music on.
Mhm.
And it gave me the appreciation for so many different kinds of music. And I did dance. And so all of these things that we see take place at McCree,
Yeah.
because sometimes these things have been taken out of our schools,
Right.
as part of our education. Sometimes it's something that draws you. You're like, oh man, I love this, and I need more than what I can get at school. And there's McCree Theater.
Right. Right. And today we had 54 kids that we're engaging for our summer camp,
Okay.
and they're doing August 9th and 10th. They're going to do a performance of The Lion King Jr.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
August 9th and 10th.
So they're anxiously working on getting that together.
Mm-hmm.
Short time frame, but they're up to the task.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how you can get a kid to get involved in theater, and they're shy and introverted,
Mm-hmm.
and by the end of the 6 weeks,
You see.
they're extroverted and ready to to proclaim to the world, I'm here.
That's right. That's right. And it gives people, even if you end up, this isn't what I do, it gives you an appreciation. It
Mhm.
gives you an outlet. It gives you a form of entertainment. It just does so many things
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
It does so many things for you. And so, I always like to talk about the importance
Yeah.
of the arts, and
Very.
especially in our community.
Yeah.
Especially in our community. Because where would we be if we did not have a McCree? Oh man, did I rhyme? Where would we be with no McCree?
That's
t-shirt.
right.
See?
Hey,
That's a t-shirt.
We're gonna trademark it before you get to it.
but it's true. It's so true, because you will go through this community and hear so many people talk about they love the McCree Theater, the impact it had on them. I mean, and keeping you out of trouble, keeping young
Yeah.
people out of trouble, giving them a positive place to go and a place that parents feel comfortable having their young people, their kids,
Yeah.
in attendance.
And then we've grown to the point where we have a dedicated audience now that comes to all of our productions. As a matter of fact, let me give another plug.
Go on.
We're auditioning for our next major production, The Soul of Mary Wells, on the 23rd and 24th of July
Okay.
at 7 o'clock at the theater. So anyone that wants to come out and strut their stuff,
So do you have to sing?
you have to sing,
Well, counts me out.
and you have
Can you
to
lip sync?
you have to
That's all I can
sing,
do.
and you have to do a dance routine and
Okay.
probably a monologue or poem or something,
Uh-huh.
at the auditions.
Now, Sharice could help me with the dance routine.
Mhm.
No one can help me with singing.
Right.
He said, well,
Hey, wait a minute.
like,
now.
I heard you. You're right.
there-
That's okay.
We have an instructor in our midst at the theater, Glenn Holcomb.
Okay.
He has an MFA
Hey,
in
Brenda.
voice.
Hey, Hanifa.
He has an MFA in voice,
Okay.
and I think he could teach anybody. to sing.
Really?
Yeah, really.
There's always a first
Yeah.
that can.
And a lot of singing is really how you breathe. You know, it's your breathing mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's got a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a voice, and it's
Right.
good for talking. Every now and then when I'm at home by myself, I sing, and then
Yeah.
when someone comes in and I don't hear them, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
said, we heard you.
Singing in the shower.
Mhm. I'm just walking around the house, but there is something about it that's universal when we
Yeah.
talk about the arts.
Music
so,
is.
Yeah, and so that was why, to see you get that award the other day was very deserving.
Yeah, and I was so appreciative of Reverend Oldman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a complete surprise. They called and said we wanted you to be here to get an award, but I didn't have any idea, what it entailed or any of that. But I was very pleasantly pleased and very grateful.
Yeah, and it was well deserved. You were recognized for your work, and Rita Stanley was recognized for her work.
And it's ironic that we do so many things together.
I know it. I thought that was. But it
Yeah.
was. It was like, wow, that makes perfect sense to have them both there,
Yeah,
getting recognized
right.
for the work that you both have done in this community. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot. But what is it that people should know about you if there's something I didn't ask that you want people to know? Because election time is coming. I mean, absentee ballots are out right now. You can vote right now absentee. You
Right.
can go to City Hall and vote
Right.
absentee. When does early voting starts? Pretty soon, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
It's
think
like
it's
9 days.
9 days before
prior
the
to-
actual election date.
That's right.
So it'd be like the end of July.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
because
primary is August 6th.
August 6th. So yeah, about the end of July, people can start early voting.
Right.
But tell them why it's important to vote and why is it? I mean, let's talk to people because we tend to have a dismal turnout here in
Yeah.
the city.
And again, we're falling asleep, and it's at our own peril.
Mhm.
Because you can see the slave ships coming. And if
Yeah.
we don't wake up and exercise those rights that have been bestowed upon us, I mean, we're going to be in serious trouble as a people. If you look at Project 2025, that's like a death knell to the black community. That's like a death knell to any progressive person in America. And even though Trump denies that he's a part of it,
Mhm.
can we believe that?
Mhm.
That agenda didn't just come out of nowhere.
And the thing is, I'm scared that the more frequently people don't vote, they just get wiped off the voter roll.
Yeah, and if you don't lose your rights, if you don't use them, what
Better
happens?
use it or
You
lose
lose
it.
them, right?
And they're trying to take them.
You don't use them, you lose them.
That's right. That's right. And so, we need to continue getting that message out.
Right.
And we want people to vote in all of the different areas and pay attention to who's, for the county.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. Because like you said.
And on the county, this board of commissioners is historic in that ever since there's been a 9-member board, we have never had 4 African Americans seated on that board.
Wow.
There's never been more than 2.
So we have yourself, we have
Delrico
Lloyd,
Avery,
Avery,
James Avery, and Beverly
and
Brown.
Beverly Brown.
Right.
First time that's happened.
That's the first time it's happened since there's been a 9-member board.
And so, and all of you have somebody Does everybody have someone running against them?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, Del Rico does not.
Okay. So people need to get out.
Yeah.
And they need to exercise their voice by voting.
And I really love to keep that same configuration
Mm-hmm.
on the board of commissioners. We have a good working board, and we're doing a lot of work to improve things generally, in the county.
I have a question for you. So what kind of you talked about the help that's available. What kind of calls do you get about the county?
Primarily land bank calls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't call you about street lights, and you say, no, you got to call the city
No,
about that.
no, they don't call about street lights. Primarily, 90% of my calls have to do with the land bank.
Okay.
Tall weeds growing,
Mm-hmm.
trees falling.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me save my house?
Mm-hmm. Those kinds of things. And we want it, but you really want them to not only to call about those issues of concern, call because say this again in case somebody just tuned in, because you talked about a lot of programs there that are there to help us.
Mm-hmm.
That people just, I don't know if they know that those services are there.
Right, particularly, in terms of property taxes. If you get behind, don't just wait,
Okay.
For whatever to happen. Get on it right away. Contact your commissioner.
Some people don't even know who their commissioner is.
I know. Yeah, not alone. To know what district they live in.
Oh, somebody said, will the early voting include Sundays? Well, if it's not,
I don't know the answer to that either.
That's a good one.
Well, maybe so.
It should, shouldn't it?
Yeah, the clerk's office opens
right
during that time.
Mm-hmm. So it should, John, include that. And so, people have, when you have that in place, when you have absentee voting, when you have early voting, and then election day voting,
it is so easy.
It's so easy. That's right.
Right. It's not like before where you had to go to the polls.
Right. You don't have
You
to.
can vote by mail. Usually, you get an application in the mail, for a ballot, and you don't have to pay postage on your ballot.
You just remember to sign your.
Just sign it and give it to your postman.
And for those of you that say no, I want the experience of putting mine. If you vote early, you put it right in.
Right.
So you can wait and go 9 days before if you want to slide it through that machine, and it's counted right then.
Right.
So it's getting easier as far as that goes. And so we need to take advantage because what I would hate to see is, well, we don't need to do early voting. Nobody comes.
Yeah.
We don't have.
Right.
Because they take our rights from us.
Yeah, and the other thing, my vote don't make no difference.
Oh, yeah, and it sure does.
Right.
You remember I said we had those council races where one person won, one person lost by one vote.
Right.
We had one person win and one person lose by 4.
Yeah.
We had one was 4.
Mm-hmm.
We had Councilman Mays, it was 7 votes, and when they did the recount, it was 8.
Mm-hmm.
Those votes matter.
Yeah.
Those votes matter.
Right.
So your vote does count. It makes a huge impact, and you want to get whoever it is you want in that seat to be your voice.
You're right.
So we want people to come out and vote. This is Commissioner Charles Winfery. He's running for re-election. It's not like he's a stranger to anybody, at least not to most people. I won't say to him, but to most people, because you've been involved in the community. How long have you been a county commissioner?
3.5 years.
Okay. So and they're 2-year terms.
Well, now this term will be a 4-year.
Oh, see now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we didn't stop because we'd have missed that.
Yeah. They changed it in the legislature a couple of years ago.
Okay, so now it's 4.
When they extended the legislative terms.
Okay, so now county commissioners, because I remember council used to be 2 and that went to 4.
Right.
And so now the county commissioners are 4-year terms as well.
Right, that's when the.
So people better go vote then, because you'll get stuck with somebody you don't like, and you think it's only 2 years and you're stuck with them for 4 years, you
Right.
better get that person in there that you want to be your
Right.
voice for 4 years.
Right,
Because that's a long time.
it is.
That's a long time. That is, and real good and growth can be done, or real damage and destruction can happen.
That's right.
And so you have to get the right person, and you have an opportunity. You have an
Yeah.
opportunity to be part of that.
Right, and we're on the right, on a good course in county government,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in terms of equity and inclusion. Um, and, you know, we just need that same mix, you know, to keep the progress going. So that's what I'm hoping for.
When are county commission meetings? When do you all meet?
Every Wednesday, committee meets at 9 o'clock a.m. It's going to be changed this month to 5:30 p.m. for
Okay.
committees, and the regular board meets at 5:30
Okay.
every other Wednesday.
And I think that's why, I think that's why it's hard to go to meetings too, because we have these competing. I mean,
Yeah.
because you'll have council committees on
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
yeah.
You'll have your meetings on Wednesday. When is the Board of Education meeting?
Wednesday.
And so, it's like people pick and choose.
Mhm.
And, sometimes I really wish they weren't, all the same
Right.
evenings, because all of these things are important. And then you have, like you said, the mock community
college,
college
right.
meetings. I mean, there are so many meetings that we really need to be engaged with, because they impact us. When you were talking about what's going on over there, and how many of our young people and not so young people go to mock community college.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's important.
And we really fell asleep on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We really fell asleep.
We fell asleep on some of these. I'm not going to get into it right now, but we fell asleep on some of these other elections where it's like, who's running for that?
Yeah.
And nobody, what?
Yeah.
I won't go there right now, but
Yeah.
we fell asleep on some things. So the choices that we have are the choices that we have.
That's right.
What can I say? What can I say? But now we have a choice to make a difference. And you're telling us things are going very well with the county.
Mhm.
And we have Charles Winfery, Commissioner Charles Winfery, who is running for re-election. You can vote now, absentee, early voting will start. But what do we say? Take your souls to the polls and vote.
That's right.
Go and vote. Go and vote.
That's right.
I don't know if you have any closing remarks you want to make before we leave.
Well, no, just to say, to reiterate what you just stated,
Mm-hmm.
we've got to wake up. We just can't sit back and let things happen without our involvement in those things. So I just want everybody to get engaged. Whether you vote for me or not, vote.
Right.
Right.
And if there's anything you want to tell us one more time about McCree.
Well, the auditions, July 23rd and 24th at 7 o'clock.
This is for adults.
This is for the adults, 15 and up.
Okay.
And the Lion King Jr., August 9th and 10th. We're going to have 3 performances, 7 o'clock Friday and Saturday, and a 2 o'clock matinee on Saturday.
Okay. And if you miss it, you'll be sorry.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it, because you bring some good things to us, and we appreciate it. We appreciate what you do as far as McCree Theater and the service and the work that you've done as a county commissioner. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you came. And again, you know what I hope you all do again is talk about the role of county government again.
Right.
Is that something that?
Well, I think after we had the one at McCree,
Mhm.
they're going to have them in every district now.
Okay.
So
We can look forward to that.
It's a good thing.
Okay, yeah, that is a good thing, because we haven't been very well educated on how government works, whether it's even just city government and understanding the role of council, and how that, and the mayor, our county commissioners, what the board people can do. Is some people think the board and the city there's their own governing bodies. We need to learn about our government and how it works and how we can make it work for us. And one way we can do it is by going out and voting. So thank you all for tuning in today. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time on Real Talk with Karen Weaver. Thank you for coming.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Vote.